and 2 and 1. Good morning, traders and investors. Welcome to this end of the month, November 30th edition of Pre-Market Prep with StockOdds. Joel Elconin joined by Rob Friesen on a down market so far in the session. That's being down 12 handles at 39.50 even. Couldn't take out that pre-market high, missed it by $10, and then once we decide to go red on the session below the close, it's been an uphill struggle. Have not hit yesterday's low yet of 39.41 and a quarter. Dollar in the red by 33 cents at 106.43. TLT backing off, down 43 cents at 101.55. Crude back above $80, up 272 at 80.92. Gold working its way towards that major resistance at 1780. Actually hit 1779 earlier in the session, but back down only up 30 cents at 1764. Silver did make its way into the 22 handle, but now has backed off, still up 29 cents at 21.73. Bitcoin futures snuck over 17K overnight, back under that. Those were the cash, not the futures. Futures are still up. They're up $435 to 16,700. And Ethereum futures are in the green too, a little bit more on a percentage basis. They're up $46.50. Let me stop the screech here. Let's bring in Mr. Friesen, who last week during our Turkey Day shows mentioned that there was some seasonality to the end of November, and had a couple up days followed by a down day on the last day of the month. Rob, so when you're saying that, is that are you looking at the SPY? Are you where did you get how and where did you get that information?
So here on our free, I mean, I think there's huge value to seasonality, but we do still offer it to the world for free. You can, hey, listen, I followed Yale Hirsch and Stock Traders Almanac back since I think 1998, and so a lot of those concepts we kind of borrowed, but took it farther into a more granular per stock. So we sort of built on that seasonality theme. But anyway, you guys can go for yourself and check out mystockodds.com seasonality almanac. And again, context is so huge. Timing is such a key element. And to have those insights, remember, it's probability. There can be a macro driver that interferes with it, right? So it's not like you're guaranteed to have that, but I can't live without it, put it this way, right? So as we come to the end of the month here, we have the last trading day of the month. We also have the turn of the month effect and the new trading day tomorrow. So you can look at both, and it's interesting. Sometimes the stocks that are down on the last day are up on the first day, or they're up on the last day and down on the first day. So it's really interesting. But anyway, here's a snapshot of the last trading day of the month here. And one thing I'd point out is down here, you can move the sliders, change the numbers, whatever, to change the universe here. But just of the 297 symbols that it's focused on right now, 53% of them are negative, right? Okay. I mean, so you're getting that sentiment element, right, of the whole picture, not just an individual stock. Because if you were to pick one stock out of 100, chances of being right, low. So, but look at it from a whole picture perspective, and then look at it from some of the groups. Are there things in here that kind of point to, well, maybe there's more to the industry or more to the sector than I'm seeing. I'm just seeing one symbol here out of an industry, but maybe there's more to it. So look at that, and you can also go up to ETFs and pull it from an ETF's perspective. And then you flip to the next page, and you can see that the last trading day of the month, slightly down, not a huge amount, but anyway, it's not a robust bullish day. Let's put it that way. And then you say, well, if that's the pattern, and you can go to other months and look at and see is it similar pattern. Then you have to say, what is the fundamental reason why the last day of the month is softer? Is there a reason? And there is. And this is what's changed from years ago when I first started trading was there used to be more window dressing, right? It's like, let's make sure we have the hotter stocks for the month so we can showcase that we own them. I mean, we window dress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's more now regulatory in terms of institutions meeting their net capital computations for their focus reports, month end stuff like that. So there's actually a deleveraging rather than, trying to hustle and get all the window dressing done. Does that make sense?
Sure does.
Okay, there's a fundamental reason. That's all I'm saying. And then you have the weakness of the last day, and then the institutions and mutual funds and everything redeploy capital on the first couple days of the month, which is why you can have that turn of the month effect. So there's actually a logical reason why the pattern exists. And that you can take that kind of concept into a lot of the technical patterns that you guys look for. Ask the question, if I see something, why does it exist? Anyway, moving on. So you guys can explore that for yourself. And I want to point out some other things. So in our StockOdds top 10 S&P long and S&P short. By the way, we're shortly adding some more features to the algorithm to make it more robust. It's getting a bit cold in terms of some of the ingredients that are in there, and so the performance has been less than perfect. But remember, you guys can use these for ideas, and you can vet things, and you can optimize things. So we go back a couple days, and this symbol CTLT was in there, and we got run over on it. Okay, railroad tracks or tire tracks right down our back on that one if you were in it. Okay, so we'll look at that. But this is for today. These symbols here, these are the longs and these are the shorts. So it's still there. Now it's a long. Before it was a short. Okay, so let's take a look at this because I think there's some real good takeaways. So we're going to be focused specifically on CTLT, right? Now here's yesterday's basket performance. So you can see that we dipped in the first half hour here. And that's often the case in the sense that if you're looking at things from an open to close perspective and you just take the opening print, a lot of times things that are desirable from a statistical perspective are actually bid up a little bit more than the things that are undesirable for the opening print. Can you see that, Joel?
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of people are mining data like average performances and odds of being up or down and all kinds of stuff, and our database does a pretty good job of it, it's behavioral insights. But if you're mining and you're an institution and you have whole research teams and all data scientists and all kinds of things, you're doing the same thing. And if you want to get in on pre-market or at the open, sometimes those symbols that are favored for the day actually get bid up too much.
Okay.
And so you buy it. So if whether you decide to buy them right away or whether you wait for a pullback, you are the CEO of your trading business. You're the operator. You don't have to just get in because everybody else is getting in. You can wait and see if there's a gap fill or whatever. My point is that if you just take the opening print and the closing print, you're going to have those defined elements to view things through. And that's what's happening here in this chart. It pulls back because those stocks that opened hot are getting a little bit of a pullback, and so your basket can often be down right in that first half hour, first 15 minutes, and then it springs to life, and then it starts to gain. So that's what it was doing here, and you see the gain was well on its way until about 1 o'clock, and then it started to fade and ended up down for the day. Okay. So as a basket operator, you are looking to lock in profits, look at change, look at the symbols. So one thing to remember is that often your performance for the day isn't made exactly proportionate per symbol. It's like out of 20, you could have 3 or 4 that really make your day or break your day, right? So there's some really great performances and some not so. So usually you got to say, all right, I don't want to trade the money. I don't want to trade my P&L, but I want to use that to let me know if there's something I should be looking at and ask the question, why? So if you're losing money on a particular symbol, go take a closer look. If you're making money on a symbol, go take a closer look. Why? Because you want to protect profits if you can, or you want to deal with something that could be a runaway freight train, right? Okay, so now let's look at this from the perspective of what happened. I'm going to go right back here to this day. Okay, so let's make this a bit bigger here. So CTLT was a short, and here's how it opened right here, and it started to pull back. Okay, so statistically, it was behaving normally. What happened at 1 p.m. was some news came out from Barclays about their 483s being cleared by the FDA, blah, blah, blah. They said, blue sky, upgrade, this thing can go to the moon, basically, right? So that's what happened here, right in the middle of the day. So here you are with your statistical framework. You've got a short in there, it's doing fine. And then news hits, and then everybody piles in. So what I want to point out today is if you were looking at your basket and say, oh, hey, something's changed, I'm starting to lose money. Go look at which symbol or symbols are causing it. This would have jumped right out at you. Look at the pace, look at the signal to noise ratio, look at the volume increase, look at its VWAP, and it's pulling away from it, not even looking back at it, not testing it, nothing, right? So that could be a situation where you go, hey, something's up. Maybe you don't even see the news, you just see the information that's coming through on the tape, your charts, whatever. And so you go, hey, something up here. Maybe you can dig down and find the news and go, yeah, there's definitely something up here. You can take that off. You can close that out. You don't have to keep it to the end of the day, right? You can take it off, replace it with something else, or replace it with, the ETF or whatever. So I want you to look at that pattern, and there's a lot of information in there. First of all, the volume, as we said, it's walking up the upper Bollinger Band, not even pulling back to the 20-period moving average. Finally has a little bit of a pullback here and recovers very quickly and continues on. Bollinger Band squeeze, it breaks out from that shelf, again. So there was just a lot of information about this was under accumulation and it was moving very quickly. Now, StockOdds then took a look at all that information and said, the next day, it's a long. So this was a short. Then the next day it said, under these conditions and all the information that we have, it's now a long. Okay, fine. Let's go to the next day. Here it is. So this is where it finished. Here's the extended hours, the pre-market here, nothing going on. It opens, it does a quick little pullback, and then it goes through and does a opening crossover, right back through the previous day's close, and an opening crossover. And what does it do? It launches. Okay, so we're long, so now we're in the money, right? Now, do you notice a difference between the nature of this chart and this one? Like, that's why I stacked them like that, because I wanted you to see the difference, right? Do you notice a difference?
I mean, with the top one's probably a shorter time frame, right? So
Well,
the
no,
move.
it's the same. I just put I could move this back over here. So, but I just wanted to show where it finished and the extended hours right here, and then the
Okay.
pre-market. Okay. So it's, if I stretched it out, it would look like this, except that the chart still looks different. What's different about it? Well, look at the relationship to the volume weighted average price. Look at how choppy it is relative to this one. Look at the fact that it did pull back and test the VWAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much greater degree of chop, much more noise, less of a pace, less of a signal. It gets out there, we're quite profitable. So look at 1 p.m. And remember, I showed you the basket. This is 1 p.m. right here. Look at the basket start to decay. So obviously this performance here was contributing to the basket performance. Again, what symbols are making you money? What symbols are losing you money? So that contributed. And then it pulls back and it breaks through the VWAP. So there's some real technical, trading going on too. And it starts to weaken and it finishes the day almost unchanged, like plus 0.02%. So almost completely unchanged on the day. So
Mm-hmm.
if you weren't observing that, you wouldn't have protected your profit. Okay. Now let's go to today. Okay, so there's the daily chart. You can see, first of all, one thing I should bring up is when you're looking at your long and shorts, do note if there's been any large events, daily gaps, things like that, because we're at the point where if you want to focus on the short side and the market does go down, like some analysts were talking about yesterday, another 23% from here, well, then you're going to look like a genius. But if the market wants to rally up 20 or 30% from here, then the shorts are going to probably get punished, especially the ones that are discounted so much. So always be careful about where things are at, what daily gaps are above that and all that. Because, I mean, if this thing starts to trade into this gap, I mean, it probably won't look back until it actually closes it. We've seen that movie many times, right, Joel?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gap. Most gaps get
I mean,
filled.
I just have a cliche that says every gap gets filled eventually, right? It helps me remember, right? It may not be completely true, but it's like helps you remember. So there is some opportunity and some risk, because what's been driving this, is a little, in my opinion, is a little bit of fluffy news. Like some of the problems with this company are not over just
Right.
because the 483 was cleared. That doesn't mean the problems are over. But anyway, so looking at this today, 1 minute chart here. Let's pull that back.
Yeah.
So it's a long, and we're seeing the same kind of move that we had yesterday. And again, another opportunity to protect profits. You see how it crossed through its VWAP here. So very similar type performance to yesterday, which is again very different than the other day when the news hit. So this is what I wanted to point out is how different days can be. Let's put a 5 minute chart there so you can get a little bit better. And we can roll this back to all 3 days here in a 5 minute, and you can see how's that.
Okay.
So you can see clearly the news hitting and boom. I know you like 5 minute charts better than one anyway, so you can see that incredible pace. Then the next day you see some follow through after a little bit of a dip, and it basically closes unchanged. Today launches up a little bit, and again, what do we have coming up here, Joel? We have a clear target, and that's the thing is always, if you're focused on something like, hey, I see a symbol coming up again in StockOdds, or you're doing your own homework and you want to employ it, well, what are the price levels that might be important? If you see something on the move, if there's
Yeah,
nothing
that
to look
40.
at, if it's just noise, don't worry about it. But if something is actually moving and it's been a central focus like this has, why is this a central focus? Because you got run over on it back here if you were
Mm-hmm.
short, right? Remember I said tire tracks down your back because you were short?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then here you're long, you have a chance to profit. Here you're long, you have a chance to profit. So again, there's nothing wrong with doing basket trading, longs and shorts, and drilling down to individual opportunities and either dealing with a problem or protecting a profit. And when you do that, if you take off a long, then go look and say, is there a short I can take off, or can I replace it with equal dollars in the ETF or something? Just
Okay.
to help you be more robust in that. Now, one more thing, and I'll be done with this.
Okay.
When you make a discretionary decision like that to close something, see how well you did later by looking back and said, was that the right choice? Don't just do it on a whim, just because there's money there. Don't do it just because, you have a feeling or something. Like have some substance to it. Have a rule-based system. And that way you can refer back and go, did this help me or hinder me? Would I have been better to leave it, or did I improve it? And I think that's really a great way to go.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that $49 area definitely.
Resistance. Yeah. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
a key thing. Like you should, as it's getting up there, you're going, that's a price level. It's yesterday's high, you know,
Had
maybe
other
it hasn't,
highs.
maybe it doesn't have a whole bunch of other highs, but it is yesterday's high.
Uh-huh.
If it can't break through that, do I still want to hold it? It's a good question.
There was
And you
some
might,
other highs in that area as well.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, this is hopefully it's a good lesson by stringing the 3 days together and kind of say, okay, what happened here and what could we have done about it? And I think, that's always what you can do at the end of the day in your journal is take a look at your, outliers, both on the negative side and the positive side, and just to take and do a little bit of a review. And, was there more value that you can add to get greater return on your capital? Because that's the goal. What's the best return on capital I can get every single day? Okay.
I like that. Pre-market prep with stock odds, kind of just churning towards the low of yesterday. That's 41 and a quarter. So we'll keep an eye on that. Currently down 13 and a quarter, handles at 39.49. Thanks for joining us. Everyone have a great remainder of the day. Back with you tomorrow morning.